whenever something bad happens in the private sector anywhere on the planet, bad working conditions in Bangladesh, China, Indonesia, America in the 1800s, anytime statists, socialists, big government believers will always say, there's the free market. Anyone who believes in the free market has to answer for all the crimes of the private sector. Yet when it comes to government, big government advocates are never like, God dang it, my theory of big governments being helpful is kind of looking pretty bad. Russia's government is committing all these atrocities. And, oh gosh, the Saudi Arabian government is committing atrocities in Yemen. I gotta really rethink this. Well, sometimes, one level above that, it's even easier to say, look, that government is bad, but our government's totally different. Or even people like Yaron Brook will say, well, when Russia does it, they're a dictatorship going in and oppressing people. When America does it, it's about liberation. I don't know how many people the American government has to murder for these cult members to stop believing that there's some really kind motives behind all their actions. But I want to take a look at the year 2016 when Barack Obama, very kind, very trendy, very liberal guy, was in office. This is from the Council on Foreign Relations blog, January 5th, 2017. I went back because Trump, of course, is seen as, well, he wasn't even a real president. He was basically installed by Russia, and he's a terrible white supremacist. So here is the last year of the really good, cool guy who we all wanted to hang out with. This blog was co-authored with my research associate, Jennifer Wilson. Note, this post was updated to reflect an additional strike in Yemen in 2016, announced by U.S. Central Command on January 12th, 2017. Article begins. As President Obama enters the final weeks of his presidency, there will be ample assessments of his foreign military approach, which was focused on reducing U.S. combat troops, with the notable exception of the Afghanistan surge, supporting local security partners, and authorizing the expensive use of air power. Whether this strategy works, i.e. reduces the threat posed by extremists operating from those countries and improves overall security and governance on the ground, is highly contested. Yet, for better or worse, these are the central tenets of the Obama doctrine. I'm glad they admit it is highly contested. See, they steal trillions of dollars, put tons of people in harm's way, and they're not even sure if this is helping, if this is hurting. Actually, it might create more terrorists because the people you kill then want to seek revenge on you when they blame civilians of the country that the military belongs to. So they're not even sure, but they're happy to spend trillions of dollars, give tens of thousands of people PTSD, get people's limbs blown off. Watch out for the free market, though. That's really bad. In the free market, people are greedy. Watch out for greed. Okay, the article continues. In President Obama's last year in office, the United States dropped 26,172 bombs in 7 countries. This estimate is undoubtedly low, considering reliable data is only available for airstrikes in Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, and Libya, and a single strike, according to the Pentagon's definition, can involve multiple bombs or munitions. In 2016, the United States dropped 3,028 more bombs, and in one more country, Libya, than in 2015. On the right, for those of you watching on Minds, Odyssey, YouTube, Float, or Archive.org, you can see Barack Obama accepting his Nobel Peace Prize. Most, 24,287, were dropped in Iraq and Syria. This number is based on the percentage of total coalition airstrikes carried out in 2016 by the United States in Operation Inherent Resolve, OIR, the Counter-Islamic State campaign. The Pentagon publishes a running count of bombs dropped by the United States and its partners, and we found data for 2016 using OIR public strike releases and this handy tool, which they cite in the article. Using this data, we found that in 2016, the United States conducted about 79%, 5,904, of the coalition airstrikes in Iraq and Syria, which together total 7,473. Of the total 30,743 bombs that the coalition dropped then, the United States dropped 24,287, 79% of those bombs. Again, it's highly contested whether or not this even works. It's very likely that it creates more terrorists than it stops. You can look, according to the CIA, in around 2001, there were roughly 400 members of Al-Qaeda, and now there's tens of thousands from Libya to the Philippines. So it's probably counterproductive, makes us less safe, gives America a worse reputation around the world. To determine how many U.S. bombs were dropped on each Iraq and Syria, we looked at the percentage of the total U.S. OIR airstrikes conducted in each country. They were nearly evenly split, with 49.8%, or 2,941 airstrikes carried out in Iraq, and 50.2%, 2,963 airstrikes in Syria. Therefore, the number of bombs dropped were also nearly the same in the two countries. Last year, the United States conducted approximately 67% of airstrikes in Iraq in 2016, and 96% of those in Syria. On the screen, you'll see the chart that's provided by the Council on Foreign Relations. I will list them off here. Syria, number of bombs, 12,192. Iraq, 12,095. Afghanistan, 1,337. Libya, 496. Yemen, 35. Somalia, 14. Pakistan, 3. Totaling 26,172. And of course, it didn't stop. It continued under Trump, even under Biden. We can see the New York Post reports Biden administration admits killing 10 civilians in Kabul airstrike. No ISIS-K, by Stephen Nelson, September 17th, 2021. Barack Obama is a war criminal, says Harvard Political Review. He, Barack Obama, is an expansionist of this drone policy, reflected clearly in the development of his drone program. During his presidency, Obama approved of the use of 563 drone strikes that killed approximately 3,797 people. In fact, Obama authorized 54 drone strikes alone in Pakistan during his first year in office. One of the first CIA drone strikes under President Obama was at a funeral, murdering as many as 41 Pakistani civilians. The following year, Obama led 128 CIA drone strikes in Pakistan that killed at least 89 civilians. So we know, but even places like Harvard, even places like the Council on Foreign Relations know that this happens, yet they're terrified of exploitation in the free market. They're terrified these mass murderers only get $4 trillion a year. We need to raise taxes, they tell us. The Intercept has published the Drone Papers, an in-depth analysis researching this drone program in America. Quote, during one 5-month period of the operation, according to the documents, nearly 90% of the people killed in airstrikes were not the intended targets. In Yemen and Somalia, where the U.S. has far more limited intelligence capabilities to confirm the people killed are the intended targets, the equivalent ratios may well be much worse. Here is something called Disposition Matrix, informally known as a kill list, a database of information for tracking, capturing, rendering, or killing suspected enemies of the United States, developed by the Obama administration beginning in 2015. It goes beyond existing kill lists and is intended to become a permanent fixture of the U.S. One of the most amazing things is that this was published in the New York Times. The title of the article from May 29th, 2012 is Secret Kill Lists Tests Obama's Principles. And a secret kill list or an assassination manual is actually nothing new. There was a study of assassination from 1953 that was published by the Central Intelligence Agency and declassified, I believe. It was declassified under the Freedom of Information Act on May 15th, 1997. So the lie that, well, they would never do bad things. Okay, well, they could do bad things, but they wouldn't have bad intentions. Well, even if they did have bad intentions, it would have been exposed by now. All of those are totally fake. Every criticism of Vladimir Putin applies also to your government. And the reason this is so important is because people have the double standard in their head that violence isn't violence when the state does it. Only the libertarians have the answer to this problem by taking away that double standard that people have. That, well, I'm just doing my job for the government. You'd never buy that in the private sector. No, I'm a hired rapist. I'm a hired assassin. Well, I mean, unless you're working for the state, everyone would recognize you as a mobster and a terrorist, which would drastically reduce the amount of power you have. So the point is, take away the double standard. Yes, it's bad when Putin does it. Yes, it's nice to see some Ukrainians resisting, even though Zelensky's trying to initiate a third world war by begging for a no-fly zone. The point is, it's not Russia versus Ukraine or America versus Russia. It's the people who reach their ends in life voluntarily versus the people who do so violently. Thank you for watching Keith Knight Don't Tread on Anyone and the Libertarian Institute.
When I was a cadet, what's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.